We'll now turn to our proponents and to welcome first Representative Pat Proctor. Welcome to the Tax Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the committee. Thank you for hearing this bill. So when I came up here to Topeka, it wasn't to work on elections, which I know is what you usually hear me talking about. It was to do something to bring Leavenworth back. Leavenworth is losing population, and I've been focused up here for the last 5 or 6 years trying to do things to keep the residents we have and get more people to come to Leavenworth. And this is an extension of a problem across the state, right? We're stagnant population. We got 60,000 unfilled jobs. We need to get people to come to Kansas. And you guys have already heard the disabled veteran property tax bill. That's a piece of that. But this is another piece of it. So I represent Leavenworth and Fort Leavenworth, and I have 10,000 residents, give or take, on Fort Leavenworth. And almost none of them are Kansas residents because there's a federal law, it's called the Servicemen Civil Relief Act, and the way it's written, you can choose to be from your home of record or you can choose to be from any state where you're stationed. But how it ends up getting implemented, because there's really no way to check where you've been stationed throughout your career at the finance office, is people can be from wherever they want. And they all pick Texas and Florida because Texas and Florida doesn't have income tax. And they can also do that for their spouses. So their spouses are also from Texas and Florida because there's no income tax there. And so what the intent of this bill is if we exempt the income tax for military service members while they're here in Kansas, I'm hoping they'll become Kansas residents and they'll stay Kansas residents the whole time that they're in the Army and the Air Force, whatever service they serve in. And just maybe it'll make them that much more likely to come back here because they've been Kansans all the time. And while they were here, we welcomed them. We, with this benefit, we encouraged them to be Kansans. And maybe it makes it just that much more likely that they'll come back. Ancillary benefits of this. They're going to get if they become Kansans, they're going to get their driver's license here. And then every time, they get their driver's license renewed, it'll be in the state of Kansas. They're going to get their car tags here. And every time they renew their car tags in whatever county they were stationed in, that county's going to get the revenue for the fees for those tags. And so there's a lot of ancillary benefits to having them be Kansans while they're here and after they leave. But the main reason, like I said, is just I want them to come back. To the fiscal note, you'll remember we had this bill in this committee 2 years ago, and we had some conversation about this. I believe that the fiscal note is $4 million because all those active duty service members, they're not paying income taxes now. So you're not losing any income taxes for those active duty service members. The only income tax that you would lose with this bill, as it's currently written, is the guard drill pay. So those guardsmen and guardswomen, when they're serving on their 1 week in a month and their 2 weeks a year, that pay is currently in this bill as would be exempted from income tax. And so that's the cost. And so if you calculate from all of the active duty pay, I would say that's probably inaccurate because those folks aren't paying taxes here now. I think I would just wrap up here, and then, Mr. Chairman, I'll stand for questions if anybody has any. Like I said, our population is stagnant. We've got 60,000 unfilled jobs in this state. Businesses go where there are people to fill the jobs for the businesses that they need. These folks, these military folks, not only do they get whatever skill they get in the military and whatever leadership skills that they get in the military, they get great educations. A lot of them have degrees. A lot of them have advanced degrees. A lot of their spouses have degrees, have advanced degrees. They come out of the military, if they retire or if they're disabled in some way, with great medical care from TRICARE and or the veterans, VA medical benefits. And most of that medical care is not delivered on post. it's delivered on the economy, because there's a lot of things that the military posts or the VA hospitals don't have. And so that's federal dollars coming into our system to basically subsidize our civilian system of healthcare with those federal dollars. And so it's really important if we can hang on to these guys and gals. It'll be really good for Kansas, and I hope that you'll support the bill.